Addressing limited service capacity in mobile homes requires careful evaluation and clear communication. Firstly, thoroughly assess the existing electrical system, paying close attention to the capacity of the service. Document the findings. Secondly, communicate these limitations to the customer in clear and understandable language. Explain the potential consequences of exceeding the service capacity, such as trip breakers and the inability to run multiple appliances simultaneously. Discuss the concept of load management and its importance in avoiding overloads. Thirdly, explore the option of refusing the job. Electricians may decline a job if the existing service is inadequate for the intended load, particularly if it poses safety risks or violates electrical codes. Explain to the customer the reasons for declining the job, emphasizing safety concerns and potential liabilities. Fourthly, consider a limited circuit installation. If proceeding with the installation, carefully assess the existing load and the additional load of the new circuit. Ensure that the total load does not exceed the service capacity. Install only essential circuits and strictly limit their usage. Utilize energy-efficient appliances and devices with low power consumption whenever possible. Advise the customer to monitor their electrical consumption and avoid overloading circuits. Fifthly, upgrading the electrical service. Discuss the possibility of upgrading the electrical service to increase the ampacity of the feeder. Explain the costs, benefits, and requirements of this upgrade, including permits, inspections, and potential modifications to the electrical panel and wiring. Provide the customer with a detailed estimate for the upgrade. Sixthly, written documentation is essential. Document all conversations, assessments, recommendations, and agreements with the customer in writing. This documentation should include the limitations of the existing service, the potential risks of exceeding the capacity, the agreed upon scope of work, and any disclaimers or waivers related to the service limitations. Seventhly, follow up and monitoring. After completing the installation, follow up with the customer to ensure that everything is functioning properly and that they understand the limitations of the service. Provide guidance on responsible load management and offer assistance in monitoring their electrical consumption. Consider installing a whole house energy monitor to track energy usage and identify potential overloads. Consider the National Electrical Code, or NEC, requirements for mobile home services. Article 550 covers the requirements for electrical systems in mobile homes and mobile home parks. Ensure that the electrical installation complies with all applicable NEC requirements. Pay close attention to the size and type of service conductors, overcurrent protection, and grounding requirements. Consider the use of load calculations to determine the appropriate size of the service. Use the load calculation methods outlined in Article 220 of the NEC to determine the total load on the service. Account for general lighting loads, appliance loads, heating and cooling loads, and any other connected loads. Ensure that the service conductors and overcurrent protection are sized appropriately for the calculated load. Here are some specific considerations for mobile home electrical services. Mobile homes often have limited space for electrical equipment, which can make it challenging to upgrade the service or install additional circuits. Carefully plan the layout of the electrical equipment to maximize space utilization. Mobile homes may have aluminum wiring, which requires special considerations for terminations and connections. Use only approved connectors and termination methods for aluminum wiring to prevent corrosion and overheating. Mobile homes may be subject to specific local codes and regulations that differ from those for conventional homes. Check with the local building department to ensure compliance with all applicable requirements. When evaluating the existing electrical service, pay attention to the condition of the service entrance conductors, the meter base, and the main panel. Look for signs of damage, corrosion, or overheating. If any issues are found, recommend that they be corrected before proceeding with any additional electrical work. When discussing load management with the customer, explain the concept of demand and how it affects their electrical bill. Explain that reducing their peak demand can help them save money on their monthly bill. Provide tips on how to reduce their energy consumption, such as turning off lights and appliances when not in use, using energy-efficient light bulbs, and unplugging electronic devices when they are not being used. Consider installing a smart thermostat to automatically adjust the temperature based on occupancy and time of day. This can help reduce energy consumption and lower the customer's energy bill. When recommending an electrical service upgrade, consider the long-term needs of the customer. If they plan to add additional appliances or expand their home in the future, recommend a service upgrade that will accommodate their future needs. Consider the use of a sub-panel to distribute power to different areas of the home. This can make it easier to add additional circuits in the future and can also improve the overall safety of the electrical system. When documenting the electrical work, include detailed information about the existing service, the new circuits installed, and any modifications made to the electrical system. Include photographs of the electrical equipment and wiring. Keep a copy of the documentation for your records and provide a copy to the customer. When following up with the customer, ask them if they have experienced any problems with the electrical system. If they have, investigate the problem and make any necessary repairs. Provide ongoing support and guidance to the customer to ensure that they are using their electrical system safely and efficiently. Remember to prioritize safety in all aspects of the electrical work. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment such as safety glasses, gloves, and insulated tools. De-energize circuits before working on them and use a voltage tester to verify that they are de-energized. Follow all applicable electrical codes and regulations. If you are not comfortable performing electrical work, hire a qualified electrician. By following these steps, electricians can effectively handle limited service capacity in mobile homes while prioritizing safety and meeting customer needs. The main objective is always to ensure a safe and reliable electrical system that meets the customer's needs without exceeding the limitations of the service. For example, consider a mobile home with a 40 amp service that needs a new 240 volt dryer circuit. Firstly, assess the existing load. Determine the amperage draw of all existing appliances and lighting. Assume the refrigerator draws 5 amps, the window air conditioner draws 8 amps, and the lighting and small appliance load is estimated at 10 amps. This totals 23 amps. Secondly, consider the dryer load. A typical dryer requires a 30 amp circuit. Adding this to the existing load would exceed the 40 amp service capacity. Thirdly, communicate the limitations. Clearly explain to the customer that adding a 30 amp dryer circuit to their existing 40 amp service will likely cause the main breaker to trip, especially if other appliances are running simultaneously. Fourthly, explore options. Discuss the option of upgrading the service to a higher amperage, such as 100 amps. Explain the costs involved, including new service panel, wiring, and permits. If the customer declines the upgrade, discuss load management strategies. These strategies include advising the customer to avoid running the dryer simultaneously with other high-draw appliances like the air conditioner or microwave. Fifthly, limited installation with documentation. If the customer insists on installing the dryer circuit without upgrading the service, proceed with caution. Use appropriately sized wiring and overcurrent protection for the dryer circuit. Document in writing that the customer is aware of the service limitations and the potential for the main breaker to trip. Obtain a signed agreement from the customer acknowledging this risk. Sixthly, follow up and monitoring. After installing the dryer circuit, follow up with the customer to ensure they understand the load management strategies. Advise them to monitor their electrical usage and report any issues such as frequent breaker trips. Remind them of the importance of not overloading the system. Seventhly, alternative solutions. If the customer is open to alternatives, suggest using a gas dryer instead of an electric dryer. Gas dryers typically consume less electricity, reducing the load on the electrical service. Also, consider a smaller, more energy-efficient dryer model that requires less amperage. Remember that the goal is to provide the customer with a functional appliance while ensuring the safety and reliability of their electrical system. By carefully assessing the load, communicating the limitations, and exploring alternative solutions, you can make informed decisions that minimize the risks associated with limited service capacity. Furthermore, consider these points for more informed decisions. Conduct a thorough load calculation using NEC methods. This provides a more accurate estimate of the existing and proposed loads. Consider the diversity factor, which allows for the fact that not all appliances will be running at the maximum load simultaneously. Consult with a qualified electrical engineer or inspector to review the load calculation and ensure it complies with local codes. Install a load monitoring device to track the actual electrical consumption of the mobile home. This can help identify potential overloads and provide valuable data for making informed decisions about load management. Educate the customer about the importance of energy conservation and provide tips on how to reduce their electrical consumption. Encourage them to use energy-efficient appliances, turn off lights when not in use, and unplug electronic devices when they are not being used. Consider the use of a demand response program, which allows the utility company to temporarily reduce the load in the electrical system during peak demand periods. This can help prevent overloads and improve the reliability of the grid. Review the local electrical codes and regulations to ensure compliance with all applicable requirements. Pay close attention to the requirements for mobile home electrical systems, including grounding, bonding, and overcurrent protection. Keep detailed records of all electrical work performed, including load calculations, wiring diagrams, and inspection reports. This documentation can be helpful in resolving any future issues or disputes. Maintain a professional relationship with the customer and provide ongoing support to ensure their satisfaction. Be responsive to their questions and concerns and address any problems promptly. By following these guidelines, electricians can effectively manage the challenges of limited service capacity in mobile homes and provide safe, reliable, and cost-effective electrical solutions for their customers. This also promotes responsible energy usage and protects the integrity of the electrical system. Remember the importance of clear communication, thorough assessment, and meticulous documentation throughout the process.